जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस श्री भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। ISKCON संस्थापकाचार्य सेवियर द होल वर्ल्ड जगत गुरु श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 3, The Birth of Lord Krishna. Text number 19. Tattva asya janma sthiti samyaman vibho. Tattvosya janma sthiti samyaman vibho. Vadanti anihat agunat avikriyat. Vadantyanihadargunad avikriyat. Tvayi Ishvare Brahmani no virudhyate. Tvayishvare Brahmani no virudhyate. Tvad ashrayatvad upacharyate gunaihi. Tvadashrayad upacharyate gunaihi. Tattvosya janma sthiti samyaman vibho. Vadantyanihadargunadavikriyat. Vayishvare Brahmani no virudhyate. Tvadashrayatvad upacharyate gunai. Vadantyanihadargunadavikriyat. Vayishvare Brahmani no virudhyate. Tvadashrayatvad upacharyate gunai. Tvattosya janma sthiti samyaman vibho. Vadantyanihadargunadavikriyat. Tvayishvare Brahmani no virudhyate. Tvadashrayatvad upacharyate gunaihi. Tasya janmastiti yamyaman vibho. Vadantyanihadargunadavikriyat. Tvayishvare Brahmani no virudhyate. Tvadashrayatvad upacharyate gunaihi. Tvattaha are from your lordship. Asya of the entire cosmic manifestation. Janma the creation, sthiti, maintenance, samyaman, and annihilation. Vibha, O my Lord, Vadanti, the learned Vedic scholars conclude, Anihat, who are free from endeavor, Agunan, who are unaffected by the modes of material nature, Avikriyan, who are unchanging in your spiritual situation, Tvayi, in you, Ishvare, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Brahmani, who are Parabrahman, the Supreme Brahman. No, not. Virudhyate, there is a contradiction. Tvat ashrayatvad, because of being controlled by you. Upacharyate, things are going on automatically. Gunaihi, by the operation of the material modes. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. O my Lord, learned Vedic scholars conclude that the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the entire cosmic manifestation are performed by you, who are free from endeavor, unaffected by the modes of material nature, and changeless in your spiritual situation. There are no contradictions in you, who are the Supreme Personality of Godhead Parabrahman. Because the three modes of material nature, sattva, rajas, and tamas, are under your control, everything takes place automatically. Please repeat this translation after me. O my Lord, learned Vedic scholars conclude that the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the entire cosmic manifestation are performed by you, who are free from endeavor, unaffected by the modes of material nature, and changeless in your spiritual situation. There are no contradictions in you, who are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Parabrahman. Because the three modes of material nature, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, are under your control, everything takes place automatically. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As stated in the Vedas, Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate, natat samaschabhyadikascha drishyate, parasya shaktir vividhaiva shruyate, swabhaviki jnana bala kriyacha. The Supreme Lord has nothing to do, and no one is found to be equal to or greater than Him, for everything is done naturally and systematically by His multifarious energies. This verse is from Shetvashvatara Upanishad 6.8. Creation, maintenance, and annihilation are all conducted personally by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and this is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Maya Adhyakshena Prakritihi Suyate Sucharacharam. Yet, ultimately, the Lord does not need to do anything, and therefore He is Nirvikara, changeless. Because everything is done under His direction, He is called Srishtikarta, the master of creation. Similarly, He is the master of annihilation. When a master sits in one place while his servants work in different duties, whatever the servants are doing is ultimately an activity of the master, although he is doing nothing. Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. The Lord's potencies are so numerous that everything is nicely done. Therefore, He is naturally still and is not directly the doer of anything in this material world. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं। यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं। यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। This is another prayer offered by Vasudeva to Lord Krishna, who has appeared as the child from Devaki's womb, but he has appeared in an extraordinary form, his Narayana form. Now, Narayana form generally is that of a looking like a male adult. What is interesting is Narayana form, Krishna has appeared as a balaka, as a small boy. Actually, when a child is born, it's a very tiny infant. They say infant, shishu, very small. I don't know whether nowadays you get to see. When I was in high school, I had once been to a maternity home. My brother was born in a maternity home. So I had seen this, the nurses in that maternity home, they will carry these babies for different purposes. I don't know what is the system now, but earlier all the babies had to be bathed separately and they had to be fed separately or something like that. So many things used to happen. So this nurse, she will carry like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 babies like this. I've actually seen it. Have you seen it, Mataji? Yes, she has seen it. All old timers would have seen it if they've been to a maternity home. It's exclusively meant for delivering children. So the babies are so small, just this much, when they're just born. Very small. But here, out of Devaki's womb, child is appearing. He's Balaka. He's like a grown-up boy. When he first appeared, he's a grown-up boy, but he's Narayana. So Narayana in a size or a form looks like a small boy is extraordinary. That's why there is a previous verse Shukadeva Goswami describes. Tam adbhutam balakam ambujekshanam. Adbhutam balakam. Wonderful child. Extraordinary child. Extraordinarily beautiful, extraordinarily wonderful. So, Vasudeva offering prayers to the Lord is actually helping us understand what is the actual position of the Supreme Lord. It is very important to understand because everybody has got some conception of God. Even atheists have some conception of God. What is that? That there is no God. There is also a conception of God. And of course, those who are theists, they have a understanding of or conception of God. And different conceptions are there. But all those conceptions of God, whatever somebody may have, without reference to the authorized scriptures, without hearing from the proper spiritual authorities, without learning from the proper source, they are all misconceptions of God. They're all wrong conceptions of God, wrong understanding. Now, as long as we remain ignorant of God, we are stuck in this material world. Remain in this material world. We'll never be able to get out of this material existence. So therefore, Krishna says, one who knows me is the knower of everything. One who knows the transcendental mystery of my appearance and activities, he is eligible for liberation. And he comes back to me. He gets out of this material existence. So, to know Krishna, to understand Krishna, to understand the transcendental mystery of Krishna's birth, activities, etc., is only possible from the authorized scriptures, like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and the original Vedas also, but only the confidential portions of the Vedic literature. Why? Because the Vedas are, the bulk of the Vedas contains things about this world, our world we are living in. Traigunya Vishaya Veda. How this world is working. Simply by the interaction of the three gunas, Traigunya. So when there is a description of the working of this world, especially with reference to the three gunas or material nature, all those descriptions are actually not revealing to us God, who's always, as far as the material world is concerned, always in the background, not directly visible, not directly seen, not directly perceived. Just like Krishna is present as Paramatma in everybody's heart. But if somebody tries to search out within his heart who is there, at the most, one can perceive or realize or see oneself within as the spirit, different from the body, different from matter. Otherwise, one is not able to see or perceive or understand the presence of the Supreme Lord, even though He is present in everybody's heart. He is active, always active, but that cannot be understood how He is active, how He is present, how He has entered into everything. Vishtabhyaham idam kritsnam ekam shena sthito jagat. Just half a verse, Krishna explains how this cosmic manifestation, this material existence is working, because He has entered into it as Paramatma. He has entered into every atom, every material atom. He has entered into every spiritual atom. What is spiritual atom? The spirit souls, the jivatmas. They are the spiritual atoms. So this atomic theory, Paramanuvada, by one Kanada Rishi, after studying the Vedas, he is concluding that the ultimate reality is material atom. Of course, he doesn't say material atom, he says atom. But which atom is he referring to? There are two kinds of atoms in this material existence. The material atom and the spiritual atom. The material atom is what this matter is made up of. And the spiritual atom is the individual living beings. So the spiritual atom, those who are not transcendentalists, those who are not spiritualists, they can never understand, they'll never be able to see or perceive or study and get to know, never possible. But those who are spiritualists, after their spiritual practice or spiritual study comes to a mature stage, then they understand something called spirit, separate or different from matter exists. But then one has to go further after understanding something called spirit exists apart from matter, and totally different spiritual qualities, spiritual characteristics of spirit are completely different from matter. Then one has to proceed and progress to come to understand what is spiritual energy, and beyond the energy, the spiritual personality, the supreme personality, the source of everything, matter, spirit, material world, spiritual world, the living entities, everything, Krishna. So even though Krishna is present as Paramatma, even the yogis who are trying to perform Ashtanga Yoga meditation, their object of meditation is the Lord in the heart, Paramatma in the heart. But even that Paramatma in the heart, those who are not having understanding of the absolute truth, supreme absolute truth as the supreme personality of Godhead, their conclusion is this Paramatma is impersonal Brahman. The absolute truth. Paramatma is the absolute truth. But this Paramatma, the presence of the Paramatma in the heart of everybody is a temporary manifestation. The presence of Paramatma in every atom, material atom, is also a temporary manifestation. But impersonal Brahman is, or absolute truth is, eternal, eternally existing. So what is that eternal existence of Paramatma? Feature, the temporary manifestation of the absolute truth is Paramatma in this world. What is the eternal feature, eternal manifestation? That means in the spiritual world or in the spiritual dimension. For the non-devotees, it is always the impersonal Brahman, the spiritual sky, the Brahma Jyoti, the effulgence of Krishna's transcendental form. And for the Paramatmavadis also, those who are non-devotee Paramatmavadis, for them also, the absolute truth is impersonal Brahman, ultimately. Whereas for the devotees, the understanding is very clear that the absolute truth is the supreme personality of Godhead in the spiritual world, whose bodily effulgence is the impersonal Brahman, who has expanded as the Paramatma in the heart of every living being and entered every atom, everything material he has entered, the material world itself he has entered. Vishtabhyaham idam kritsnam ekamshena sthito jagat. So, to know Krishna, to understand Krishna, to realize Krishna is not possible except by devotional service, except by bhakti. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Bhaktya tu ananyaya shakya aham evam vidhorchuna. So many statements in the Bhagavad Gita by Krishna. Clearly it is explained that only by bhakti you can realize or know or understand Krishna. So, part of understanding Krishna, the process of bhakti, is to hear from the realized souls, from the pure devotees, from the acharyas, from the authentic scriptures. So here the words of Vasudeva is throwing light on who is Krishna. So Vasudeva is giving a conclusion by Vedic scholars, learned Vedic scholars. The learned Vedic scholars are described here as Vadanti Tvattaha Asya Janma Sthiti Samyaman Vibho Vadanti the Vadanti itself means they are describing or they're speaking. Who's speaking? That is explained here. The learned Vedic scholars conclude. Vadanti. So the learned Vedic scholars, they are giving a conclusion. What is that? That the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the entire cosmic manifestation performed by you. Vasudeva is addressing the Supreme Lord. And he's telling that even though it appears like the material world is conducted by the three gunas, and the gunas seem to be working automatically from the beginning of creation till the end of this creation. Still, the fact is that the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the entire cosmic manifestation is performed by Krishna. Now, Krishna is directly controlling or creating, maintaining, destroying, and Krishna is also indirectly doing it. This is explained, or this is just mentioned briefly in the very opening verse of the Bhagavatam. Janmadyasya yatonvayat itaratah cha artheshu abhigyasvarat. That the creation, maintenance, and destruction, ultimate source of everything is Vasudeva, Bhagavan Vasudeva, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. But he is both directly and indirectly the creator, maintainer, and destroyer of this world. Directly, he is involved as the Paramatma. Directly is involved. Because this whole material energy is lying dormant, Krishna expands as Mahavishnu, and Mahavishnu enters into this material energy, and the energy becomes activated. And then everything happens. So until he enters, the material energy is simply lying dormant, inactive. So this way, directly he is the creator, he is the maintainer, because Mahavishnu expands as Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and Garbhodakshai Vishnu expands as the Kshirodakshai Vishnu. Kshirodakshai Vishnu is the maintainer. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, the Trinity among the Devatas or the controllers of this entire material world. So Vishnu is maintainer Vishnu. That maintainer Vishnu, Kshirodakshai Vishnu. So he is directly responsible for maintenance. Creation is done by Brahma among the Devatas, the principal Devatas. But Brahma is the secondary creator. This is explained in the Bhagavatam. Sarga Visarga, primary creation and secondary creation. Primary creation is done by the two Vishnus. The first Vishnu is Mahavishnu, and the second Vishnu is the Padmanabha Vishnu, Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. He creates Brahma. He creates these universes. From his skin holes, the universes come out of his own transcendental form. See, it is very puzzling that Vishnu enters into the material energy. But the material energy manifests as these universes coming out of the body of Mahavishnu. So, is the material energy inside Vishnu, or Vishnu has entered the material energy? Both are correct. So, therefore, here there is a statement that in you, Vasudeva is saying, there are no contradictions. There are no contradictions in you. It's not a contradiction. If we say you are inside this room, it doesn't mean that you are outside the room. Can't say, I'm inside the room and I'm also outside the room. No, not possible. But Krishna, as Mahavishnu, he enters the material energy, so he is within the material energy. That's why he's called the soul of the material energy, Paramatma of the material energy. He enters into it. But then after he enters, then from his transcendental body, from Mahavishnu, so many universes are coming out from his skin holes. The pores of his body, so many universes are coming out. So when he has entered, how can universes come out of his body? So this is not a contradiction. He is simultaneously within and without everything. Antar bahishcha tat sarvam vyapya narayana sthitaha. These are all there in the Vedas. But it's not so easily understandable by the ordinary people, even by learned scholars, unless they are situated in devotional service. They cannot understand these Vedic statements. It's contradictory. But there is no contradiction in Supreme Lord, because everything is directly and indirectly performed by him. As Paramatma, he directly creates, and as Brahma, indirectly he is creating. Because Brahma is creating, the secondary creation happens after Brahma is born from Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. Then he is enlightened by Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. Then he is given the ingredients for this creation by Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. He is given the skill by Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. He is given the knowledge, skill, the ingredients, everything is given by Vishnu. Then Vishnu inspires him, now do the creation. And the Brahma offers prayers, that may I be able to do this creation properly, perfectly, by your mercy. Brahma offers prayers. Because Brahma is an insignificant jiva. And this gigantic creation of the whole universe, how can an insignificant jiva do such a gigantic creation? So therefore, Brahma prays. And that is made possible by, for Brahma to do is made possible by Vishnu. Therefore, indirectly through Brahma, Supreme Lord only is creating. What about Shiva? Shiva is also destroying. First of all, Shiva is born after the creation takes place by Vishnu, by Mahavishnu and Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. After that, Shiva is born. In some kalpas, Shiva is born as the son of Brahma. And some kalpas, Shiva is born from Vishnu himself, from Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, directly. So, in any case, Shiva appears after Vishnu has done his work of creation. Then, when annihilation takes place, it's always Shiva is the annihilator in this world, yes, in this universe also. But he annihilates being empowered by Sankarshana. At the bottom of this universe, Sankarshana is lying down. Now on his hoods, one form of Sankarshana, Anantasesha, on his hoods, each of the universes is resting like a mustard seed. And another form of Anantasesha is Seshanag, who's at the bottom of the universe. On the hoods of the Seshanag, each planet is resting like a mustard seed. Okay? And that Sankarshana, when these planets are to be destroyed, he becomes slightly angry. And then from his mouth, fire starts emanating. And then this whole universe is burnt away. But to an uninformed observer who cannot see Seshanag or Anantasesha, for them, Shiva is the destroyer. Because Shiva derives the potency to destroy from Anantasesha or Seshanaga, Sankarshana. So Shiva is not the destroyer ultimately. He is also an agent of Sankarshana. Sankarshana is the Supreme Lord. So therefore, directly and indirectly, the Supreme Lord is the creator, maintainer, and destroyer. Now, Vishnu himself, even though he is the maintainer, but he maintains through the devatas. Like every aspect of this material creation after it is created. For controlling the wind, there is a wind god. For controlling the sun planet, there is a sun god. For controlling the moon planet, there is a moon god. For controlling every part of our body, there are devatas. So Vishnu also is not directly the maintainer. He maintains through the devatas. The devatas are actually maintaining. But the devatas are completely dependent on Vishnu for doing their duty of maintenance. So, indirectly Vishnu maintains through the Devatas. Directly he maintains because ultimately the Devatas are dependent on Vishnu for doing the maintenance. Vishnu is seated in their heart as Paramatma. He gives intelligence. He gives the direction to their, he gives the knowledge. He makes the Devatas function as Paramatma in their heart. So directly in that way, Vishnu or the Supreme Lord is the maintainer. So directly and indirectly, that is what Vasudeva is telling here, that even though the Lord is not required to do anything in this world, everything is going on by his energies. His energies are so multifarious that they are wonderfully working. But still, indirectly, through his energies, everything is working. And directly, he is involved as Paramatma, as Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, as Kshirodakshayi Vishnu, as Sankarshana. He is directly. So, both directly and indirectly, he is the only controller. He is the only creator. He is the only maintainer. He is the only destroyer. He is the only person who is actually really active. But that does not mean the living entities or the devatas, they are simply like robots. No. They are all living persons. They have their free will. They have their individuality. They have their initiative, but always subordinate. Their free will is subordinate to the will of the Supreme Lord. Their initiative is subordinate to the Lord's initiative. Their desires are subordinate to the desires of the Lord. Therefore, the Supreme Lord as Paramatma is present in everybody's heart as Paramatma, at least in the material world. And as Paramatma, he has to sanction, he has to inspire, he has to direct the intelligence, he has to move the limbs, he has to do everything through the living entity, through the material energy, through the limbs, through the material nature. He has to do it. So therefore, he is the ultimate controller, ultimate doer, ultimate enjoyer, ultimate desirer. Therefore, the living entities are always subordinate. But if they align themselves with the will of the Supreme Lord, they become Krishna conscious. Then they are properly situated in their constitutional position, and everything is perfectly, everything will go on very nicely. The living entities will do as living beings. They will not be simply bewildered or will not be under illusion. When they are situated in Krishna consciousness, they are out of illusion. And then they actively, voluntarily, exercising their free will with their own initiative, They will be working, they will be thinking, they'll be feeling, they'll be willing, they'll be doing, they'll be enjoying everything. But that is always subordinate to the Supreme Lord. This we have to understand. So I'll stop here. Nantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada.